everyone! So today I'm going to go over every single thing that I use to start my seeds indoors for the growing season. And I did a video on this last year, but there have been some upgrades since then. So I'll go over kind of what I use. I'll talk about how long I've been using different things, what I like, what I don't like that I've done in the past. And my seed starting setup, at least I feel comparatively, is very simple because I don't start as much inside as I feel like other gardeners do because I don't have a lot of space outside to move all of the plants that I wish I could start inside. So I would say I'm definitely more small scale. I will post some videos down below of other gardeners' seed setups that are a little bit more advanced, a little bit larger, just in case that is something that you're looking for. But most of the stuff I'm gonna show you today, I've kind of been using since I started in 2019. So let me talk first a little bit about how I've started seeds in the past, because you actually don't need a lot of equipment to start seeds inside. So in 2019 was the first year, and I think I just started way too many tomatoes and maybe some pepper plants. I can't even remember now, but I do know I had like 20 different tomato plants going indoors. But I planted everything in just plastic cups with potting soil. And then I put them in front of our windows, which were actually 2 sliding doors. And I think there was another blank window, or was it 2 sliding doors? This was at our last place that we were renting, so I can't remember the layout exactly. But what I do remember is that those doors faced south. That room got so much light, and again, because they were sliding doors instead of just windows, it let a whole bunch more light in. So I was able to put them just right up against the windows, and I would turn them a little bit just so the seedling didn't continue to grow one direction towards the windows, but I didn't need anything else. I mean, I watered them, obviously, but if you have enough sunlight coming into your home naturally, you don't need to invest in any sort of lighting system. Now, moving here then, so in 2020, I didn't start any seeds because I think we moved in May, so it was kind of right in the middle of when I would be starting seeds and then moving them outside, so it didn't make sense to start a bunch of seeds and then move with them. But 2021, I started seeds inside again without using any sort of lighting system, just the sun. Now the difference is we still have the sliding doors, which is nice because again, it lets more light in. But we have east and west. So east is this way. No, east is this way, west is this way. So I would start my seeds in the morning sun on the east side, and then I would bring them over during the afternoon to the west side, and then at night I would come back, pick them up, and move them back over. I mean, it took a couple minutes out of my day. Sometimes I forgot, and they did perfectly fine. So again, I'm able to make it work here, I know, even if I didn't invest in any sort of lighting system. Just a bit of a reminder to move them back and forth. Now, I can do that because I work from home. My office is on this floor, so it's a lot easier for me to be able to access them throughout the day than it would be if I had to go into an office. So now let me tell you about what I use to start my seeds, like the medium that I actually plant them in. And I've been using this since 2021, so this will be my 3rd year of using this setup. Again, I started with just like plastic solo cups, but I'm all about efficiency in the garden for the most part. So for me, you know, filling up a bunch of solo cups, I had to cut holes, drainage holes in the bottom, fill them up with soil, and it just took a little bit of time, and it was definitely messier than I intended. So what I started to use once we came here in 2021 are these Jiffy greenhouse kits. I like these for a variety of reasons. One, they come with this plastic lid on top, so they do turn into a greenhouse. I basically keep the greenhouse on while I'm waiting for the seeds to germinate. And then once they do germinate, I take the lid off. But this can also be reused throughout the year for propagation. So I really like that. Once I actually start my seeds, I'll go over in depth of actually how to use these. But everything you need comes in here. So I don't buy like seed starting soil. I don't buy like solo cups anymore. Everything that I need to start my seeds is in here. Now this one specifically is tomato and vegetable greenhouse kit. I forget what the other one's called. Maybe it's called flowers, but the only difference here is the size of the peat pellets. So there are 36 peat pellets in here. They're maybe about 2 inches in diameter. And if I can, I like to avoid having to pot up my seedlings once they start to kind of fill up the peat pot or the peat pellet. I try to avoid having to, again, pot them up because I love efficiency. So these ones are larger. I think they have another kit that is maybe like 1 inch in diameter for each of the pellets. There's 72, but they outgrow the pellets a lot faster because they're smaller. So this really works for me because again, I'm not starting that many seeds indoors. But if you are gonna start a lot more, you might wanna go with the ones that fit like double the amount of pellets in one of these little greenhouse kits. 2021, I used 2 of these. Last year, I used 4 of these. I think this year, I'm gonna use 6, and that's because I'm planting more in the back garden now than I ever have before. I think that's a pretty good amount. Now, these are maybe about $20 each, I think. So again, it is an investment, but for me, everything coming in one, like I just water in here. I don't have to worry about, I think when I use the solo cups, I had a bunch of, baking sheets. I had a bunch of baking sheets underneath my solo cups so that obviously when the water drained out, it didn't just go all over the floor. But this is everything that I need all together. So that's why I really like these. I don't know if I added up the cost. So if I'm doing 6 of these at $20 a piece, that is $120. If I put together the cost of all of the solo cups, although I do have a bunch of like plastic nursery cups now, buying the soil, it might even be a little bit cheaper, but again, just the time that I have to put into it, these make it a lot simpler. So I've been using these since 2021. I can't imagine switching unless something better comes along. One thing too that I do want to get better at. So these, obviously I have used, once I'm done kind of with all of these, I just plant them out into the garden. And then I will either use the plastic trays for propagating like houseplants, or I will put all of the additional seedlings that I have no room for in my garden like on these as trays, and that's how I transport them to other people who can plant the extra seeds that I grew. What I want to do this year is try to reduce the amount of plastic that I'm using in my garden. So just a few weeks ago I was thinking, gee, wouldn't it be nice if they just sold the pellets so that I can refill the pellets but still use the same plastic tray? And then I thought, why don't I actually look that up and see if it exists? And it does. So I think that's gonna be my plan going forward, is to keep all of these trays, unless again I need to use some for transportation, but keep as many trays as I can, then just refill the peat pellets, and that should also be cheaper. So that is everything I use to like actually grow the seeds in. Next, let me talk about the lighting, because this is where I have done a little upgrade, and I have no idea if the upgrade was worth it yet or not. All right, now on to lighting. So here is what I used last year. This is what I am using this year. Like I said, until last year, I had never used any sort of grow lights. I tried my Soltech grow light, which works really great for houseplants. Not great for seedlings. They became very leggy. So I don't recommend doing that if you have a Soltech Solutions grow light. But when I was researching, a lot of people said, you don't have to get something labeled as grow light, get something as an LED shop light, because typically they're basically the same thing, but when it's labeled as a grow light, it becomes more expensive. So that's what I did. I looked up LED shop lights. This is called Maxima 2 feet utility LED shop light. It is from Walmart. It was $29.99 when I got it last year. Now it's listed for $34.99. So about $30. I got 2 of them. And when you are getting grow lights, if you're getting multiples, make sure they can connect to one another, because that way you're plugging all your lights into each other and then plugging a single cord into an outlet. If they don't have connectors like this, then you have to plug every single light into an outlet individually. So do make sure they have some sort of connection, again, if you're getting more than one grow light. I used 2 of these last year. 2 of these lights covered 2 of these Jiffy trays, and I did 4 last year. So I did 2 under the grow lights, I did 2 in the windows. Again, they both worked really well. I didn't obviously have to move the ones that were growing under the grow lights back and forth to the windows, so that was nice. But with this, you do have to, 1, connect it to wherever you're going to grow, and you do have to move it up and down because you want it to start closer to the seedlings, and then as the seedlings grow, you want to move this up again, just so your plants aren't getting leggy. So these worked really well. I did make an upgrade to grow lights from Gardener Supply. So these, I think, let me check really quick so I tell you the right name. So these are called the high output LED fixtures, 2 feet, again, so same size as the ones from Walmart, with magnetic clips, and a set of 2. Right now it's $156. I think that's about how much it was. I got these for Christmas. So let's say it's about 160 divided by 2, that's $80 versus what was $30 for a light. So these are a little bit more than double. I haven't used it yet, but I imagine that maybe it might not be worth the added features I get for this to really make up for doubling the cost, but I did want to invest in this to see how it does. So the benefits of these, first it says that these are twice as bright as regular LED lights, and because of that, you don't have to move them up and down, at least you shouldn't. Again, haven't tried them yet, I will try them this year, but this way I can put it in one stationary spot and not have to worry about raising and lowering it. It also comes with magnetic clips on it. And just as a shout out, I guess, to Gardener Supply, one of these was broken when I got it. It didn't fit like onto the light, and they sent one out and offered me a discount on top of it for something else on the site. So that was really exciting. These also have connectors here, so I have 2 of these lights that came in the set. Now, another difference between these is this one, as you can see, only has 1 bulb. This other one, apologize for the noise, has 2 bulbs. Now, I'm wondering if this one, because it's twice as bright, can still cover the same area as this one with 2 bulbs, but again, I'm not sure yet. So we'll kind of see how these do. My plan is, since I was able to fit 2 under the grow lights last year, I'll have 2 under the Walmart grow lights, I'll have 2 under the Gardener Supply grow lights, and then I'll have 2 in the windows. And then that way, I can compare and contrast all of those. So I am excited to try out the new lights. Again, going into it, I don't know if the extra cost will really be kind of worth it, but we will see. And then the last part, or the last piece of, I guess, equipment that I use for my seed starting, before I actually show you where I set this up, is an automatic timer. So this one is not the one that I used last year. This one is from BN Link. It came in a 2-pack. These were not super expensive. We got these initially for our Christmas trees, but they're really easy to set up. There's a clock on them, and you just basically pull out. I think it's pull out when you want the light to go on. You push in when you want the light to go off. I might have that backwards. I need to re-look this up before I actually install it. And then there's one plug here. You plug it in, and then the lights turn on and off without you having to do it, which is great because typically I have this set for 14 hours for my seedlings. So in the morning, I would probably be up early enough to come up here and turn the lights on. But at night, I probably wouldn't, or I might forget. And you want to make sure you have at least 8 hours of dark for your seedlings. You don't want to leave grow lights on all the time. It doesn't help seeds. It does not make them grow faster. They need a dark period. But I do recommend having a timer just so you don't have to remember to turn the lights on and off on your own. So this is really simple. Last year I had one that connected to the phone, and I think it was one of those where, yes, it's more technologically advanced and I could control it from my phone if it worked properly, but I couldn't really get it to work properly most of the time. So I'm just going with something simple that I know pretty much as long as I have the right pieces pushed in and pulled out, it'll go on and turn off when it's supposed to. So that is everything that I use as the individual pieces. I'll show you the cart where I set this all up, but again, it's not a lot. It's just the Jiffy Peat pellets, the lights, the timer. I will probably need an extension cord once I connect all of the lights together. Now I'm thinking about that. I might need a strip because I don't know if this will connect to this. Definitely not. So I will need to get some sort of power strip that then connects to the timer, but I'll figure that all out once I actually get my seeds set up. But yeah, not a ton of stuff that I use. Again, I've been successful using just my windows and the peat pellet trays, so whatever you want to use to get started, I think will be perfect. Again, I'll link more videos below of people that have a more in-depth setup in case that is what you need. But now, let me take you over to where I maybe will be starting my seeds this spring. So this right here is my baker's rack that I've had for many years that I got on Amazon. It is on wheels, so I can easily move it around. But this is what I use to start my seeds. Right now it's holding my baskets, which hopefully I'll have a place to move them. I'll kind of talk a little bit about kind of why everything's up in the air as far as seed starting right now. But let me come in closer and show you how the lights work. So with the lights I had from Walmart, I basically had to use the chain, and then I think I zip tied through the bars for the light, and then I had to kind of re-zip tie every time I wanted to change it. With these lights, because they are magnetic, they stick right on. So I am excited for that to at least be a slightly easier setup. And don't mind the very, very gray weather we've been having here in Chicago, but for the seeds that I start on the floor, I literally just set them in front of the windows here, so you can see kind of how much natural light we get. So the reason why things are kind of up in the air right now is that this is the room that we are getting redone. I have got some furniture that is kind of replacing old furniture that was in here. The folding table has been given back to my husband. I'll show you all the updates once I kind of have them all together. But right now I have 2 bookshelves on order that I think are coming mid-March. Now obviously I can put my baskets on the floor before then if I need the rolling shelves, the metal shelves, but I would like to have like more places to put things instead of just putting them all over the floor. But most importantly is I think we're gonna be painting this room soon, and it might happen like in the middle of when my seeds would be in here and starting and set up. And obviously I don't want to have a setup up here and then have to like move it downstairs because we're painting. So I might set up everything like downstairs in my bedroom. That way I can keep an eye on them and like water them first thing when I wake up if they need it. So I'm kind of figuring out where I'm gonna put all of that, but I am excited because it does feel like in this room things are starting to come together, which is always fun. I wasn't sure kind of how long the process would take, but I do think for the most part we'll be pretty set before gardening season is in full swing. Again, I'll give you all of the updates on that, but it is nice to kind of have a room coming together in a way that makes me really happy. So I think that's gonna be everything. That is my simple seed starting setup that works really well for me. Let me know if you have any questions on anything I use. I will keep you updated on the lights that I got from Gardener Supply and how those are working. If there's anything else that you use that's really helpful, let me know. And then once I start my seeds, I'll show you how I actually use everything that I just mentioned today. But thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.